Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, well done. We can hear you well. It's Zülal, actually, from the broadcast right now. Welcome, Mona. We are so
Okay.
happy to be in the session with you.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Hello to Turkey. Like,
Oh,
hello from Boston.
oh, hello from Istanbul right now. We are so excited. Let's start with the opening speech if it is available for you too. Right now, the founder of the accessible mathematics platform, Miss Uçuş, is also here. Miss Uçuş, Uçuş, you are welcome to make your opening speech. Could you hear us? Okay. Maybe
Is muted.
Sorry. Yes. Hi,
welcome in,
hi,
welcome
Mona.
in.
Hello. Hello. We are very excited together with our platform teachers and students to be with you, who inspire us all with the work you carry out. Give hope to the future and change the future on the barrier-free mathematics education platform, which I founded by saying if mathematics is a perfect equalizer, it should be equal for everyone. As a female scientist fighting for a more fair, equal, and inclusive life, I congratulate you on March 8th, International Women's Day. I'm glad to have you. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Well,
Okay.
thanks so much for your opening speech, Ms. Uçuş. Actually, the president of Inclusive Accessible Living Association, Mr. Kürekçi, is also here. You are welcome to make your welcoming speech as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for introduction, Zülal. And also hello, Mona, and everybody in here in this meeting, everyone. Hello. So I'm Haydar, and Haydar Kürekçi, the president of the Inclusive and Accessible Life Association. So this is a pleasure to be here with you, Mona, and also everybody in this meeting. Thanks again for accepting us to meet. Our association is dedicated to creating projects that support inclusive and accessible life. Uh, one of the which project is the Enmep. Hale is managing that project in our association and aimed at assessing students, particularly in the field of mathematics. In addition, we have some other projects also. Veren, one of them is we are developing some educational material and supportive applications for the students, and we are engaging with the another Parisian associations from various countries. We would be delighted to contribute with you also in future. That will be perfect for us in some cases. Um Last but not least, as we gather here, let us also celebrate the World Women Days in here and recognizing the invaluable contribution of women around the globe. This is really perfect, and happy to hear with you also in this day. Thank you again, and I will handle over the stage to our moderator Zülal again. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your opening speech. Mona, I can also translate some of the parts of this session to the Turkish directly, if it is also available for you too. Right now, we are live on the YouTube platform as well, and we have some audience there. For the YouTube audience, you can leave your questions into the chat box below. Also, we have some participants in the Zoom session as well. You can also leave your questions into the chat box, or you can wait until the Q&A part of this session. Let me translate this to the Turkish before the beginning. Açılış konuşmalarını tamamladık. Hali Hoca derneğin misyonunu ve aslında Engelsiz Matematik Erişim Platformu'nun misyonunu anlattı. Herkesin matematiğe eşit ve erişilebilir bir şekilde erişmesini vizyon edindiklerini söyledi. Haydar Hoca da yine aynı şekilde Kadınlar Günü vesilesiyle Mona ile bir araya gelmemizin çok değerli olduğunu söyledi. Sorularınız varsa chat'e bırakabilirsiniz YouTube'dakiler ve Zoom'dakiler için. Ya da soru zamanını da bekleyebilirsiniz. Mona, I'm Zülal, the founder and CEO of Premiere's Artificial Intelligence and Software Company. I'm also visually impaired, totally visually impaired. So probably this session is going to be inspiration time for me too. So we have so many questions. Let's start with our first questions, if it is okay for you too.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be here right now, and happy International Women's Day.
Herkese merhaba. Burada olmaktan dolayı çok onur duyuyorum. Okay, actually, you have so many identities. For example, you are one of the researchers or an engineer. At the same time, you are an activist on the accessibility field. When did you decide on to be a visually impaired scientist? And how did you, for example, decide on to overcome the obstacles with this way? Biliyoruz ki birçok kimliğin var. Bir araştırmacısın, aynı zamanda bir mühendissin ve bir yandan da aslında bir aktivistsin. Buna ne zaman karar verdin ve buradaki zorlukları aşmaya nasıl aslında karar verip de bu yola çıktın? It is your time. Let's go.
Amazing. You're doing the English and the Turkish at the same time. Okay, so I have been blind since I was 7 years old. I've always wanted to be a scientist before I was even blind. This is a part of who I am. It's a part of what makes me me. When I was diagnosed with macular degeneration and choroidal dystrophy, that didn't change my soul, you know, and I think my soul wants to be a scientist. So that's always kind of been a part of me. And so in order to do that and to grow up, I think I realized that, society has a different idea, a different opinion. They tell, society sometimes a lot of times was telling me I can't be a scientist. So then I had to become an advocate so that I can show that, I have the right to be a scientist. And then I learned it's not just even that science needs people from different backgrounds, including people who are blind. Like
that's a great point.
Yes.
Let me interrupt you. 7 yaşındayken aslında karar verdim bu sürece. Görme engelliydim ve aslında birçok insan özellikle bilimci olamayacağımı söylüyordu. Görme engelimden dolayı ve toplumda böyle bir algı vardı ama düşündüm ki aslında farklı eğitim seviyelerindeki ya da farklı durumdaki insanlar engelli olsun olmasın bilimci olabilirdi ve bunu kanıtlamak için de bu yola çıkmaya karar verdim ve büyüdüğümde de aslında bu yolu seçmem gerektiğini biliyordum ve aslında bunu yaptım diyor. Okay, you can also go on. You can also complete it.
No, I think I answered your question.
Wow.
I think I answered it. I think, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, probably you faced with so many challenges on your way. Could you, for example, mention about your challenges and how did you overcome the obstacles? Have you ever talked about giving up or something like that? If you talk like this, how did you motivate yourself? Muhtemelen çok fazla zorlukla karşılaşmışsındır bu süreç içerisinde. Zaman zaman da vazgeçmeyi düşünmüş olabilirsin. Vazgeçmeyi düşündüysen eğer bu zamanlarda kendini nasıl motive ettin ve buradaki zorluklardan bize biraz bahseder misin? It is your time, Mona.
Yeah. Okay, so of course I had a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles. The world is not designed for blind people. I think that, that is something that we realize. On top of it, I think one of the hardest things for me wasn't just even being blind, because, you can be at peace with that. It's just how people treat you and how people assume your limitations. Just to let everybody know out there. So I am currently a professor of bioengineering at Northeastern University, and I am the director of Science in Braille, which is a global campaign put out by RACIT. And it's been a journey to get here, but I am a contributor, and I think so much of society thinks that.
May I stop you on this point actually? Aslında bir görme engelli olarak tabii ki birçok zorlukla karşılaştım ama bunların sebebi sadece görmüyor olmam değildi. Toplumun görmediğim için yapamayacağım şeyleri varsaymasından dolayı daha çok zorlandım. Bir mühendis olarak aslında biyoloji mühendisi olarak şu anda aynı zamanda bir üniversitede öğretim üyesiyim, araştırmacıyım ve çok fazla şey yapıyorum. Özellikle bu varsayımlar, aslında kısıtlarımın olduğuna yönelik varsayımlar beni en çok zorladı bu süreçte aslında. Kendimi kanıtlamaya çalıştım. Okay, you can go.
So I think that a lot of society sees people who are blind as only receivers of help, but not contributors. But the reality is every single one of us needs help sometimes, and every single one of us can contribute. And so I'm a contributor now. I'm an educator. When I was apparently a child, a doctor told my mom it wasn't worth to spend a penny on my education. And look at me now. I am educating the next generation. And so I think one of the biggest challenges I faced is other people's opinions of what I can and cannot do.
That's a great point. Buradaki en büyük zorluk aslında insanların düşünceleriydi ve onları değiştirmekti. Çünkü eğer bir görme engelliyseniz mutlaka alıcısınızdır. Ama aslında birçok insanın yardıma ihtiyacı var zaman zaman. Biz de bunlardan biriyiz aslında. Şu anda bir eğitimciyim ve bu tarafta aslında bir mühendisim ve birçok aslında farklı rolüm var ve burada bir sonraki kuşakları yetiştiriyorum. Ve aslında onların ihtiyacı olan şeyleri, eğitimi onlara sağlıyorum bu tarafta aslında. Yani her zaman alıcı değilim. Aynı zamanda bir verici rolüm var. Oh, thank you for this good response actually. What we wonder that did you have your own role models? Because right now you are a super role model for most of the people. Did you have so many role models or do you have right now? Rol modellerin var mıydı? Çünkü şu anda sen birçok insan için iyi bir rol modelsin. Senin var mıydı? Ya da şu anda rol modellerin var mı? Okay.
So I had different types of role models, but I didn't have any blind scientist role model. You know, like that was something I did not have when I was a kid. I did have role models in women, so women in science. I remember learning about Marie Curie or learning about Maria Rabia, like learning about these women scientists and being like inspired by that because I always, you know, I'm a woman and I love being in science, but I did not have any blind scientist role models.
Çok fazla rol modelim tabii ki vardı, kadın rol modellerim ama görme engelli hiçbir rol modelim yoktu. Mesela Maria Curie benim için bir rol modeldi ve bunun gibi birçok kadın da vardı. Ama hiç görme engelli bir rol modelimin olmaması beni tabii ki etkiledi bu süreçte. Bunu söyleyebilirim. Okay, do you want to add something being
Ben
additional?
giyeyim de. Hadi dişlerini fırçala. Giyeni yapalım.
I'm sorry.
All of us, you can also, yes, with yourself. Okay, do you want to add something being additional to your response? Mona?
No. I think you know. I think the future is in hopefully, you know, having more role models. My dream is if I die knowing that there have been more blind scientists in the world, that would make me happy, you know? So
Yeah, that's a great, yes, that's a great, I think, hope. And I really believe this hope as well. Diyor ki aslında ben eğer bir gün huzurlu ölebilirim, eğer hani benim gibi görme engelli rol modeller olursa ve bu rol model sayısının artmasını umuyorum bu tarafta aslında. Okay. Next question actually. Probably, maybe we can say that right now we have so many visually impaired students in this session as well, or the YouTube platform at the same time, who, for example, really want to choose the numerical fields such as science, engineering, or something like that, but they're afraid of facing with so many challenges. What would you recommend them actually on this topic as well? Şu anda bizi izleyen birçok da görme engelli öğrenci var ve onlar da aslında sayısal alanları seçmek istiyorlar. Matematik gibi, mühendislik gibi ve benzeri aslında. Ama bazı zorluklarla karşılaşacaklarından dolayı da çekinceleri var. Bu tarafta onlara neleri önerirsin? Yes, Mona, we are waiting for your response.
So this is what I recommend. Number one, if this is something you really love, try to push. It's your dream. It's who you are. Push. But I also want to tell you that it is really challenging because society is not set up for you, you know, and it's not fair. And you have to recognize that sometimes the system needs to provide the right tools. So, and you have to realize that it's not fair if you're sitting there as a blind person trying to do learning math and the teacher's teaching by writing things on the board and not describing, right? So I would encourage you to tell the teacher to describe, tell the teacher it's your right to have this education, you know. But I hear you, it's very challenging, and recognize that a lot of the challenge isn't because of you, you know. It's because of
May I stop you? I'm sorry actually. Eğer
Yeah.
diyorken tabii ki de çok fazla challenge ile karşılaşacaksınız. Bunun doğası gereği. Ama gerçekten seviyorsanız ve bu alanda başarılı olmak istiyorsanız burada sizi hiçbir şey durdurmamalı. Bunu aslında görme engelli biriyseniz, sınıfta oturuyorsanız ve aslında bir öğretmen şekilsel bir şeyler tahtaya çiziyorsa ve bunları tarif etmiyorsa aslında bunu almanız gerekiyor. Yani ona söyleyin, size tarif etmesini söyleyin, ona ne yapması gerektiğini anlatın. Aslında istediğiniz şeyleri almak için onu da kendinize de bir şans verin. Okay, you can go on right now.
I think I finished. This is good. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. The next question is, right now probably you are one of the inspiration point for your students, also actually the society as well. So could you specify your experiences, especially related with being an educator in the university? Also, maybe you can mention about some small experiences that you have right now.
For sure. So, I am a professor of bioengineering, and I did not know how I was going to teach bioengineering as a blind individual. So it was new for me. It was intimidating, and I had to sit down and come up with my own system because I'm teaching a lot of math and derivations, and basically it's a chemical kinetics class for biomolecules. And the students were not sure, but I actually published a paper about this, about the first time I ever taught. And it was really fascinating to hear how the students really enjoyed the system of teaching that I give, that they learned, oh, now it's just normal to have a blind professor in bioengineering. And so for the next generation to think of this as normal is huge. It's a huge progress.
Aslında şöyle dedi ki hani benim hiçbir rol modelim yoktu, görme engelli olan herhangi birisi yoktu ve aynı zamanda educator olan da yoktu. Bu yüzden insanlar çok şaşırdılar başlarda ve bir noktada da böyle bir şey karşılaşmak, hani bir görme engelli bir mühendis ya da bir educator eğitimciyle karşılaşmak sürpriz vericiydi. Ama ben bu yolu açtıktan sonra birçok insan etkilendi ve bundan ilham aldı. Do you want to add something being additional to this point?
What would you like to know? I have so much I can talk. I feel like, I published a paper about this.
Actually, you can talk because we need to get your inspiration right now. For example, we read so many, for example, comments that your students make on your website as well. We see that the change of the perspective on this point as well. How did you, for example, absorb these points when you look at your, for example, students in your maybe the lessons in your courses or something like that? Did you have some concerns before for example, starting the course or something like that? Şöyle aslında ne söylememi istediğinizi burada merak ediyorum çünkü ben çok daha fazlasını söyleyebilirim size, bununla alakalı konuşabilirim dedi. Ben de dedim ki aslında biz senin ilhamını burada almak istiyoruz. Ve buradaki aslında yorumları okuduk ve gördük ki birçok öğrencinin bir bakış açısı değişimi olmuş. Bu tarafta hani senin çekincelerin var mıydı mesela derslere başlamadan önce onları etkilemekle alakalı ve buradaki değişimi sen nasıl yorumluyorsun? Okay, Mona, it is your time.
Yes, I definitely had concerns. I was worried. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have a role model, right? I didn't have anybody who I can call and be like, "Oh, as a blind professor, how did you teach this material?" Right? It's a lot of math and derivations. Well, what's really interesting is I did a survey actually, and one of the students told me that when his parents found out that I was blind, they were mad. They thought that means he was not going to get a good education. Okay. But then the student told me that the best professor that he ever had in his life.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a great point. May I explain?
Yeah.
Yes. Burada aslında evet diyor, hani öğrencilerimin çekinceleri vardı aslında. Mesela bir tane öğrencim vardı ve onun annesi ve babası görme engelli bir mühendisten ders aldığında yeteri kadar verim alamayacağını ve başarılı olamayacağını düşünmüşlerdi. Ama derslerin sonunda öğrencisi o zamana kadar tanıştığı en iyi profesörün Mona olduğunu söylemiş ve bu taraftaki aslında bakış açısı değişiminden bahsetmiş. Wow, impressive. You can go on actually.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Ready for the next question? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, really, for example, try to create the accessible conditions, especially if we are talking about, for example, the global education side. We think that we consider that we need to create a world with zero barriers and also the accessible education and maybe the accessible working life or the science or something like that. Do you think that it is possible? Zero barriers is possible? If it is possible, how can we achieve this? Do you have some specific recommendations actually? Sorumu şöyle çevireyim. Bu tarafta aslında yani hepimiz sıfır bariyerin olduğu bir dünya hayal ediyoruz ve bunu yaratmak için çalışıyoruz aslında. Eğitim alanında, çalışma alanında ya da farklı alanlarda aslında bunun mümkün olduğunu düşünüyor musun? Sence hiç bariyer olmayan bir dünya mümkün mü? Ve eğer mümkünse biz bunu nasıl mümkün kılabiliriz? Bu konuyla alakalı önerilerin var mı? Yes, Mona, we are listening.
Yes, I definitely think it is possible. We're human beings. We need to be able to solve these types of problems, and I think the solutions are there. And I think a lot of the solutions are not that complex. It's a matter of considering them, right? Like a lot of the technology exists. It's just that we don't think to put it in there, or we don't think, like building a new building, it's so easy to just make a ramp. It's just people don't think of doing it, right? So the solution is, my recommendation is, whenever you're building something new, whenever you're creating something new, involve as many different types of people, get their voices. And there's an expression, nothing for us without us, right? So if you're going to develop a tool, make sure that the people that are going to use the tool are part of the developing process.
Kesinlikle mümkün olduğunu düşünüyorum böyle bir dünya yaratmanın. Çünkü şu anda teknoloji gelişti ve dolayısıyla da aslında sıfır bariyer olan bir dünya inşa etmek tabii ki mümkün. Bu tarafta yapmamız gereken birinci şey aslında özellikle bu gibi gereksinimlere ihtiyacı olan insanları duymak. Biz olmadan böyle bir dünya tasarlamak mümkün değil. Yani bizim için bir şey yapılamaz biz olmadan. Bizimle beraber bunun olması gerekiyor. Gerçekten bunları konuşarak ve bu teknolojileri kullanarak böyle bir dünya inşa etmek mümkün. Çünkü artık gelişmiş teknolojiye sahibiz. Bunu yapamamamız için herhangi bir engelimiz yok bu noktada. Okay, Mona. Maybe we can accept the questions from our session or the YouTube platforms. Şu anda soruları cevaplamak için açığız. Soru sormak isteyen var mıdır? Direkt çevirebilirim. Hem buradan hem de YouTube platformundan.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Can anybody like join the Zoom and verbally talk? I'd love to meet people if they wanted to talk too. Is that possible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Eğer sesinizi açıp hani kendinizden de bahsederseniz hani çok da mutlu olurmuş eğer duyabiliyorsa. Eğer birisi varsa bu şekilde direkt kendini unmute edebilir ve ben çevirebilirim isterseniz. Right now we have some participants in this session and I asked to unmute themselves if, for example, anyone else who wants to say something to Mona. Şu anda birisi varsa eğer kendini böyle bir tanıtmak ya da soru sormak isteyen direkt açabilir mikrofonu.
Can I introduce myself?
Of course. Okay.
My name is Can Acar. I go to TED Renaissance High School in Istanbul, and I'm also a part of this project from the said school. I wanted to ask, what do you think on the amount of resources for people who are visually impaired for them to receive an education? Do you think it's lacking, or do you think it is improvement on a global scale?
TED Rönesans Koleji'nde okuyan bir öğrenciyim ve bu noktada sormak istediğim şey, görme engelliler için yeterli kaynakların olduğunu düşünüyor musunuz? Bunlar şu anda yeterli mi ya da gelişim aşamasında mı? Okay, Mona.
So I do think we have improved over the years, but I still think there's a long way to go. And I want to share out there. So for me, I identify myself as blind, not visually impaired, because the word impaired implies that there's something broken in me, right? The word impaired just means like, it's not, it's broken. But I feel like I'm meant to be blind. So I just wanted to share that here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yıllardır geliştiriliyor aslında bu kaynaklar. Şu anda da iyi bir noktada olduğunu düşünüyorum. Tabii ki de tamamen sağlandığını söyleyemem. Ama gelişmeye devam ediyor. Bu şekilde söyleyebilirim. Okay. Do we have any question? Sorumuz var mı? Ya da do we have something to say?
Sorry, for the interruption, Zülal. So there is a question in YouTube platform, I guess, as I check. Let me try to copy them in here to translate to Mona. Okay, so it's in Turkish, but I will try to translate it. So first, Zülal, the Havva, I guess, saying that thank you, Zülal, for wonderful conversation in here because you are doing really great translation for everybody in here.
Thank you.
You're wonderful. Thank you for this one. She's saying that I was already amazed at the summit of the rare of Dr. Mona was also inspiring. What will be the reason for the research student applying to your laboratories? She's asking this one.
Çok güzel bir soru.
Is there a criteria for the positive discrimination? She is asking for this one. Yeah.
That's a great question. I really wonder this as well. Öncelikle teşekkürler Zülal, buradaki güzel çeviri için. Mona'ya tanıştığımız için çok mutluyuz ve gerçekten çok ilham alıyoruz. Merak ettiğim şey şu, laboratuvarınıza başvurmak için neden söyleseniz bu ne olurdu? Ayrıca da laboratuvarınıza hani başvuran bir görme engelli olsaydık burada bir pozitif ayrımcılık ya da bize motive edecek bir insentif var mı aslında bu noktada diye soruyor. Okay, Mona, it's your time.
Okay, so to understand the question is why would anybody want to join my lab? Is that the question?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
What would be the main reason to apply to your laboratory? And also, do you have any positive discrimination for the visually impaired or the disability, for example, for the
yeah. Okay. So why would anybody want to join my lab is because they're interested in doing computational chemistry research on pulmonary surfactant, right? So they would want to join my lab because they find my research interesting, the scientific research, right? Now, my dream is to have a blind student. My dream is to be able to train a blind student, right? This is the cycle for there to be a blind professor teaching the blind student how to do science and to do computational chemistry. So.
Yes, tabii. Gerçekten buradaki hayalim görme engelli bir öğrencimin olması ve onu bu laboratuvarda eğitmek aslında. Benim laboratuvarıma başvurmalısınız eğer istiyorsanız. Çünkü aslında burada araştırmayı, tabii ki hani mühendisliği, biyomühendislikle alakalı birçok şeyi öğreniyorsunuz. Eğer benim araştırmalarıma ilgi duyuyorsanız, ilgi duyuyorsanız bu laboratuvara başvurmalısınız. Ve bir gün bir görme engelli bir öğrencimin olmasını tabii ki çok isterim.
I also want to say that there is a blind student who might come and do an internship with me this summer. So
really?
Yes. Yes. As an undergrad, yeah.
From which country, which region maybe?
United States, from Texas.
Wow. Yazın bir stajyer öğrencim olacak Amerika'dan ve benimle beraber laboratuvarda olacak ve görme engelli. Onun için de ayrıca heyecanlıyım. Do we have any question right now? Şu anda bir sorumuz var mı? On the YouTube platformunda ya da Zoom platformunda, on the Zoom session.
So, for time being, there is no other question on YouTube and in here I'm checking. But for time being, there is no question for that.
Hocam ben bir soru sorabilirim.
Tabii ki bir soru. We have a question.
Okay. Hello, Mona. It's nice to meet you from here. My name is Özlem and I am a math teacher on that platform also. I usually teach math to middle school students and my question is a bit more in the social emotional field. How do you think I should do as a teacher to maintain and increase their motivation apart from teaching them well? Because you also mentioned the importance about the motivation. And thank you.
May I translate it? Okay. Enmep platformunda bir matematik öğretmeniyim. Bu tarafta aslında öğrencileri motive ederken sizce neler yapmalıyım? Onları daha iyi motive etmek ve derslere çekebilmek için matematik konusunda. Okay, Mona.
So hold on, I want to clarify. So you want to know how to motivate your students? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell them that you understand that it's challenging and that it is hard. Acknowledge that, acknowledge that for your students, because if you don't acknowledge it, then you can't go past it. But then tell them that they have a right to do what makes them happy and that you're there to help them do that. And that math plays a role whether they become mathematicians or not.
Okay. Matematikçi olsunlar olmasınlar aslında onları anlayarak başlayın. Onların zorlandığını, onların karşılaştığı zorlukları anladığınızı onlara da söyleyin. Gerçekten burada zorlanıyorlar. Ve bunu ne kadar paylaşırsanız aslında onlar için o kadar iyi. İyi bir matematikçi olmak zorunda değiller ya da matematikle ilgilenmek zorunda değiller. Ama bu tarafta zorlandıklarını onlara söyleyin ki anlaşıldıklarını bilsinler. Okay. Do you have anything to add to this good response?
No, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
know what to say.
perfect. I
Thank
mean,
you.
we
Thank you.
I mean, this was a really inspiring moment for me. We got really great answers from you, Mona. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
And
Teşekkürler, right? Like, thank you all.
really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe
Thank you
lastly,
so much.
I can
Yes.
say some sentences for thanks for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so then later we can leave it.
Close up.
Yeah,
How
close
did
up.
you find out about me? I would like to ask you that before I leave.
Actually, thanks to especially for the Miss Uçuş, and also thanks to her effort and the inclusive accessible living association efforts as well. We reached out to your assistants directly, and we managed this session. By the way, we really want to actually, for example, invite you to Turkey in May, especially to meet with you face to face.
Oh my God, I'd love to come to Turkey.
Wow, well done.
Good job. Good job. Yes. Okay. Let's stay in touch. Thank you all. Thank you all for, I know it's evening. What do you say? İyi geceler or iyi
Yes.
akşamlar?
Yes, correct. İyi geceler.
Teşekkür
Correct.
ederiz.
Teşekkür ederim, everybody. Thank you.
So,
Take care.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so
I mean,
much.
Mona,
You're
this
welcome.
was really inspiration for us, everybody. Thank you. It's really
Thank